life, what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? Live to no end, this is living. The life I've been given as a gift. If I'ma live it, I'ma live it to death. So what's the dream of? What's the hope in? What's the doubt for? And live to no end, this is living. The life I've been given as a gift. If I'ma live it, I'ma live it to death. Yeah.
All right, hello everybody. This is Mike Curry, FFL Valiant, filling in for Jamie Cheerio, Vice President of Living Hope. And tonight on the call, we got a brand new agent. He's within his first month and is absolutely crushing it. Writes big policies all day long, and just had his first 10K week. He's wrote about 30K. I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself, but 30K through 30 days or his first full month here. So excited to have you on, Andrew.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys
excited to have you, dude. So let's just start off here. So tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from, who introduced you to FFL, you know, what you were doing before FFL, and I'll just kind of let you take the reins here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, pretty much I've been in sales like most of my adult life. You know, I was a server starting out, 16, 17, 18, got into the door-to-door business after I left the military. I was doing like TV, internet, home security in my tri-state area. So, I got good at like the cold knocks. So that's why I love the fact that we can go door knocking, because I'm good at it. And I think that's like a slept on part of our business, because I wrote some of my biggest policies from knocking somebody who hung up on me, but yeah, recently, it was about a month ago. It's actually on my birthday. It was my very first day starting. I want to give a shout out to Alex Hale just for his persistency and not giving up after I told him no the first time. He's the one that introduced me to FFL, and I'm very thankful to have not just you guys, but somebody local that has been able to pretty much like mentor me. And he's still new too, so it's kind of a process. I'm so just super thankful that I get to like help him grow like what he wants. I get to be a part of like his future agency. And I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to like, I guess you could say like the minimal success that I've had is I love helping people. Like I just like genuinely have like a heart, like just to serve, and you guys always say that like way to serve. And, that just hits home with me when I see you guys are putting people above money. It's just like, I don't know. That was very attractive to me when Alex was showing me some of the dialogue and the conversations all y'all were having, all the leaders and all the newer reps. And, it just was like, I could find a home there, and that's really what brought me in. And I guess when it comes to the success that I do, it's nothing special. Like I'm just your average Joe that watches football and plays basketball. I just listened. I kind of plugged into the system that was already designed for success. I didn't ask questions. I just kind of did what I was suggested to do. And at first I was like, this can't be real. I was like, there's, like everybody else who makes a good little check the first week, month, whatever it is. I'm like, like, where's the catch? And, after I got my first deposit, I looked at my wife. Literally, my first day was on my birthday. It was August 21st. And my wife's a phlebotomist. She's 8 months pregnant. And I looked at her, I said, baby, I was like, you ain't got to work no more. And I told her, I said, go ahead and put your notice in. She works at a hospital. And so this is her last month working. I have a big why. You guys talk about the why a lot. And the bigger your why is, the hungrier your appetite is for success. And, my why is huge. So she gets to be a stay-at-home mom, which I feel more comfortable with because the world's crazy nowadays, and yeah, it's been a heck of a ride, and y'all are awesome. Like, I think the biggest thing for me to add on to like the bit of success that I've had is, I'm teachable. If you tell me to do something and you're making more money than me, I'm not going to question it. It's kind of like a 2 + 2 = 4 thing at the end of the day, to keep it like as simple as possible. And being able to take that like constructive criticism, like Peter Unger, there was one time I didn't listen to him, and I didn't I wasn't able to protect the family because I didn't listen to them. So that was like my smack on the butt kind of thing. You know, like I'll never not listen to it, you know, what you guys have to say because you've been in it longer than I have. And, you know, I want to be able to help as many people, you know, protect their families because at the end of the day, like that's our purpose.
Right.
And, you know, purpose driven, it'll get you farther than pleasure driven. So that's
For
pretty
sure,
much
man.
pretty
Yeah,
much my backstory.
That's awesome. So Alex introduced you to FFL. It's funny because a lot of us have those similar experiences or hesitations on like, what's the catch? Like I was just talking to a guy last night, and it's like for the longest time, he was like, man, there's got to be a catch. He's got to be, and he saw a buddy of his having success. And it's like, it's just crazy, right? That somebody, and I'm sure you feel the same way. And I did as well. It's like, you come here, you just put your head down, listen to like people that have already been where you want to go, and you just do what they tell you to do. And it's like, it works. And it's crazy. And then you look back 30, 40 days later and you're like, what in the world just happened? It's what the results of putting your head down and going to work and working really hard. So that's awesome, dude. That's crazy. I'm definitely like, you're inspiring as a brand new agent. It's crazy because anybody can do it, but like to actually see somebody do it and put their head down and commit, the commitment, I think, and coachability is rare. Everyone says they're coachable, everyone says they're committed, but to actually come in and do it. And it's a simple decision, and everybody kind of has to make that for themselves. So, kudos to you for actually going through and being committed and being coachable. So just tell us a little bit about I know it's short, but your experience, like what you've experienced at FFL as far as, the life change, like you said, you just, your wife's coming home and all that, but from day one, maybe first day on the phones, the nerves to your first appointment nerves to just how like you've transitioned into somebody who's able to write 10K in a week and very fast. So like, just tell us a little bit about that experience and your growth over the last 30, 45 days.
Well, to kind of hit on like the first day dial days, I had to look at myself in the mirror and like, I had to challenge myself to see if I was really committed to this, to see if I believed in myself. And, I do believe in myself. And Alex, he said, bro, he said, if you can buy $1,200 worth of leads, he said, do it. And, at the time, my wife and I, we were like a lot of people's stories, we were on our last little chunk of change. I had 1 month's worth of bills left over. And I went and got a Capital One credit card and I charged that mugs. Bink, you know what I'm saying? And I bought like $300 worth of leads. Shout out Fabiana with that discount. So, and then I just called. I wasn't perfect, but I just matched what Alex was doing. And, my first dial day, I set 10 appointments. And I was nervous. I was nervous. Actually, my first appointment was the next day. And I was out in the county part of my where I live, and the first house, it was like a $400,000 house. And I'm walking up, I'm like, oh God, like I'm gonna, all the like that emotional roller coaster. I was like, I'm like, like I really don't think this is gonna work. Lo and behold, I got inside, and I froze instantly froze. I'm like, what am I doing? And I was looking at my client. His name is Robert. And I just looked at him after about 10 minutes of just talking with him. And I said, Robert, I was like, can I be 100% honest with you, man? And, he's an older cat, he served in the Vietnam War. So he was like, well, I'd hope so. And I said, Robert, you're my very first person I've ever talked to. And after 10 minutes of rustling around through papers, he was like, well, that makes sense. So it was just more or less like, and he purchased the insurance because I was real with him. Like I didn't try to seem like I knew more than I was. I just embraced the newness. And I think that's the biggest thing that has helped me. I don't like going to these people's houses acting like I'm better than them, because I think we all can agree. We talk to people from all aspects of life, and it's important to level with the client and to meet them where they're at, because you'll get better responses from people instead of just sounding like a robot that's scripted. And it's kind of like you said, anybody can literally do this. you just have to look at yourself and say, you know, do you believe in yourself? And if you don't, ask somebody for help how to do it, you know. And I'm thinking what else that you asked.
Yeah, just basically your experience so far. So, you know,
Yeah.
from your first dial to your first in home to just like the first deposit to being able to go back out, you know, from first dial day to second dial day,
Yeah.
the second week, just the transition from brand new into writing 30K.
I mean, it still feels fake. Like, it's like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, baby, pinch me real quick. Because I've never, like, I've made them, like, I was making like 50 grand a year at my old sales company. And I've deposited almost $23,000 in my account in 30 days. And I'm like, it's like, it still feels unreal, you know? And it's, I think the biggest thing that I've been able to soak up from not just you, but like Jamie, Peter, and Alex, and Alan, and Josh is that emotional roller coaster that they talk about. It's real. Like, you'll go, my first deposit was $3,000 and I did that in 2 days. And I'm like, this can't be real, you know? And you get really high. And then I had a day where I was so like commission breath, if you guys know what that means. Like, I didn't make a sale. I didn't protect somebody because I was so worried about making money. So it's the even keelness that all these training videos are talking about. It's real. Like, and it's something you got to learn. You got to go through it, like most people.
Sure.
So when it comes to like me writing business now, I know I still have a lot to learn, but I love helping people. I think that's my biggest attribute. Like, I just generally just like, I want to help the homeless person just as much as I want to help the rich man. You know, it's like, there's no difference. I don't value somebody's time better if they buy the insurance or if they don't. It's just appreciating what I have has helped me like appreciate the things that I don't have, or when I do have it, you know. So that's really that's kind of it for me, man.
That's awesome, dude. And, you know, I mean, Alex is on live dials every Monday and Thursday. I see him on there all the time. So, you know, I noticed you were on there today, and, you know, has that been, you know, because there's so many new people, and you look at, you know, you see the Zoom call, and
Yeah.
it's like very few, it's the same people on there, but it's very few new agents are hopping. It's like, it's one of the most valuable assets we have here, especially as a brand new agent, to be able to like hop on. One, you can listen to people who know what they're doing. Two, you can unmute and gain experience and get live feedback, because not everybody has the ability yet to go into an office, right? And like hear people. So like the value of live dials, right? Can you kind of talk about live dials and how it's kind of, nobody's perfect, but it kind of speeds up your process and your skills on the phone?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like two brains are better than one. And we have like 40 brains on average. So
Right.
like, you have a lot of people who genuinely are in your corner and who want to help you succeed. Because, you know, like you probably remember your first day and somebody reaching out to you saying, hey, you know, you did great, but try it this way next time. And Sheila Day, I believe that's her last name.
Yep.
She's been a beast. She's consistent. My very first dial day, she was just constructively criticizing me. And that's kind of all ties together, being teachable, failing forward is a big one. You're going to fail. You're going to skin your knee, but that doesn't mean you're not going to hop back on the bike again. You know,
Right.
once you hit that stride, it's like freedom, and you won't forget how to do it. So I guess my biggest thing for the newer guys, I mean, including myself, is just to consistently be on there. It's like it's 100% judge free. Like, nobody's gonna make fun of you for choking up your words or saying something stupid, or, you know, not saying the right thing. They're just gonna coach you through it, and they're gonna help you reach your goals. That's what I've gotten from it.
No, for sure. And like, to me, you know, going through live dials, like it's been invaluable, and being able to dial on there. And like, when I first started, Jamie was on there, and, you know, Jamie helped coach me through dialing. And it's like, there's also another side of it, and it's accountability. When you're on there with your mic on, or, you know, your mic open when you're dialing and your camera's on, people know when you're dialing, right? So for me, it was like I hadn't had the office yet, so I'm still dialing at my house, right? So it's like, if Mike turns his camera off, where'd he go?
Yeah, right,
Camera's
right.
on, you're there. It's like every time, it's just funny how that works, but you can use it to your advantage, just in accountability, learning to dial. And it's huge because you learn so much. And then as you're learning, other people are learning, right? They're learning from your critiques and experiences. And, Jonah was on there today, and he crushed it on live dials, and like, he was sharing with other people, some specific objections, right, that was going through. Travis is on, like, I see a lot of people on there. I wish more people would take advantage of it. So let's kind of transition into phones, because obviously you're good enough to book appointments and sell. So what's some tricks, tips, from your phone script? We don't have to go through the phone script unless you want to, but just some tricks, some things that you feel like maybe you say that keeps people on the phone longer, or maybe to increase your show ratio.
One thing that I've been calling 3 months today, and I'm pretty sure there's a script out there that says what I say, but like I think the intro is the biggest part. It's like when you go fishing, if you don't got a good lure, like, you ain't gonna catch nothing. So with these 3 months, we'll just kind of do like a role play. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Oh God, I forgot your name.
It's Mike.
Oh my God, Mike. See, I froze. That happens.
No, you're good,
okay,
dude.
let's do it again. Okay, ring, ring.
Hello, who's this?
Mike.
Yep.
Hey, Mike. This is Andrew Seeburger. I'm the local medical underwriter here in Vanderbilt County, and I was just reaching out. You had sent in a request to our office for the state regulated life insurance, and I just want to apologize. You sent it in about 3 months ago, and we've been booked, and nobody wants to work nowadays, man. So I'm the one who's been instructed to give you a call. Okay. So I just need to confirm your birthday real quick. It says it's 12/23/2000. Is that correct?
That's it.
So, yeah. So I'll just say something like that. They can pretty much just like kind of like feel the same way. We all see nobody wants to work nowadays.
Right.
Right. Every person I said that to, I got a response, and they like brought their guard down today.
Well, you know what's funny? And it's like, I coach new agents on this all the time, and I picked up on it, and I know why you do well, because like, the phone script is conversational, right? Like, it's not, hey, this is Mike, I'm calling you back, come, whatever, right? Like, it's tell me about your favorite football team. Tell me about a fishing trip, right? The same way that you're going to have that conversation with me and talk to me is the same way that you talk the phone script. And everybody has a different style. And, it's just like in real life, you might talk to an old lady one way, right? And all soft and sweet. And then you're going to talk to, a grown man a different way, right? With a little bit more authority, especially on the phone. So like, it's all a conversation. And like, that's the first thing I noticed just with you. It's like, it doesn't matter so much about what you say. It's you sounded nothing like a salesman or a telemarketer. You sounded like you're just calling me to hang out, or just calling your buddy to go, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, and that's the phone script. That's literally what the phone script is. So that's the first thing I called on there. So basically with the 3 months, then it's just basically your intro. You make them laugh, you confirm the information, and the rest of it's the same, right?
And then like 90% of the time, if I draw some kind of emotion out of them off that intro, I'm booking the appointment. And then as I go through the actual script, with like the first tie down. So are you working full-time, retired, disabled? Okay, great. I use the same thing. Are you an early bird or are you a night owl? Right. I mean, it's one of two. Oh, I'm a night owl. Okay, great. I was too growing up. I know what you mean. So it's like leveling with them, so they don't feel like I'm just like, okay, what's your social?
Yeah, you're real.
And exactly. And then I started this tie down today, and it's like perfect. I just like, I'm up front, and I'll say, hey, Mike, can you go ahead and grab a pen and pad so we can confirm this appointment for tomorrow? And that's what I'll tell them. And they're like, yeah, sure, Andrew, hold on. So it's like, I'm just being real, I'm being upfront, but I'm also being me.
Right.
And then, when I tell them, I'll say, all right, Mike, so tomorrow is 9/28/21 at 10:30 a.m. My name is Andrew Seeburger, and here's our confirmation code for tomorrow, 318-2050. And, then I kind of stole this from Jamie. He'll say, when I walk up to the door, I'll give you my code so you can put your shotgun away.
Works every time.
Every time they're like, "Ah," they get that little jaw laugh. So I just kind of like what you were saying when we talked before this conversation, is just being yourself, like not changing who you are to try to fit into somebody else, but at the same time being a chameleon and blending in with the situation. That's something that me personally doing door to door, I had to get good at because I was knocking all day. So I think, and that's another thing. Like if you're coming from a sales job, really you have to unlearn everything you knew before, because it's different. Like it's not like, as silly as it sounds, it was harder to sell Dish and Direct TV than it is to talk to people about life insurance. And like, that's the coolest thing about it. When I first started, I was like, these people really don't want insurance. But then after I started sitting with some of them, it's like, these are like the people that we're talking to are like hardworking, honest individuals who just don't want to stay on the phone with somebody they ain't never going to meet.
Right.
And that's what like made me realize, like, I'm still realizing like, this is real.
Yeah. People are completely different in the home. And I'll tell you guys something that happened to me today. So I had this lead that I got in a couple of weeks ago and called him a couple of times. The first time I booked him, he rescheduled. And this was a mortgage lead. So this was an $80 mortgage lead. I've gotten like 4 of these retro leads in, and this was one of them. So, you spend $81 and it ain't an instant internet lead that you forget about. Right. So like I called this guy like 3 times, one booked and then he rescheduled and he's like, call me next week. And then, this was up here and I go to Myrtle Beach all the time. And it's like, well, I can't. Anyway, long story short, 2 months, maybe month, and I don't even know. It's been a while, right? Probably 6 weeks go by. And Kate comes in, my wife comes in, she goes, hey, you need to call this. His name was Jerry. She's like, you need to call Jerry. Like, you need to call him, get him on the books. You're going to be around in the morning, like try to fit him in. So I've called him a couple of times within like the last 2 weeks and he's never answered. Right. But I got a hold of him this afternoon and I was going to book him for in the morning. Right. So call, hey, Jerry, sorry, I've been trying to get in touch with you. We got to get this done. Need to get this out of the system and out there to you. Right. He goes, Mike, I'm driving back from the hospital. I just got diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer yesterday. And it's like, it gives me chills even saying that. Like, and it's like, and yeah, it's part of it's like, yeah, our schedules didn't work out, but it's like, it's also my fault and my responsibility that I didn't make sure it was a priority. Right. And it's like, because it was like an inconvenience because I'm going to a different area. Right. I'll get him when I come back. So if you really truly believe that like tomorrow could be your last day and anybody's last day, and we preach that and we push that in a home that like, you might not come home tomorrow. And yeah, it sounds cliche and it sounds like something that somebody is just trying to say to sell something, but like, it's true. Right. Like, and he's not dead or anything. And I still got the appointment tomorrow, but like, instead of going out and writing a CBO policy, right, where he would have probably, got his house paid off. Now I'm going to write AIG for 20 grand. You see what I'm saying? So it's like really being like persistent with these leads. And like when they say resolve every lead, it's not for our financial gain. It's because they filled out the form. And if they at least tell us no, it's off of us. Now, now you have no guilt, right? Now I'm like, to be honest, like, I've kind of walked around like I feel like it's my fault, right? And it's like, he didn't blame me. It's partially, his scheduling, whatever, right? But like, I know better than to not like push this and book the appointment and at least give them the information, because that's our job. Our job is just give them the information. And the ones that want it will buy it. The ones that don't, that's on them. That's their decision. So, just a little bit of something about, just persistence with the leads and just calling and being, having conviction that like the people need it, they filled it out. And it's not always, like you said, they just want to get off the phone. And, that's why personally I shortened my phone script, but just getting in the home is all that really matters, man. And let them be the deciding factor of if they get anything or not. So that's awesome. So, I mean, again, like just talking with you here, like it makes complete sense why you're having success, because I see it easily. You're real, and you're a cool guy. You seem like somebody you could just hang out with anytime. And I've never even met you, other than just a little bit ago on the phone. So it's like when you're in the home, when you're on the phone with people, they don't want a sales guy. They don't want a telemarketer they just want somebody real. Like they just want help, right? It's like the whole, like, the more real you are, the easier this business is. Just show up, be authentic, and just genuinely help people. And you clearly do that. And even in your speech, your body language, right? Like I can feel the genuineness in you speaking here. So, obviously that's going to take you a long ways here. So never change that, and definitely keep grinding there, dude. So a little bit about the in-home. Do you have any like tips or tricks for the in-home? Some things that maybe you've learned, maybe some objections you used to get that you seem like you're better at now, or just anything you want to share about your in-home that you feel like's really helped you?
So the first thing that I do when I get inside, I'm instantly talking. Like I'm just talking to them. Like there's not any awkward silence. I'm like going to make them my friend. As some people go the Cold Stone, Steve Austin route. I want to make you smile so you're comfortable with me. And after I kind of, I go in there, I show them my ID, I look at theirs, and I say, great, this is awesome. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Before we get started, I just like to ask, I go over the agenda that they have printed out. And then before I get into the actual financial inventory, I'll just look at them and say, hey, Mike, is it okay if I talk to you like you're my brother? Is it okay if I'm just like 100% honest and real with you? And 99% of the time they'll say, well, yeah. So at that point I'm in. I challenge them respectfully, because there's, I've heard in the trainings, it's not what you say, it's how they hear it. And I think we all can agree that's so true. And when I get in there, I just want to make people smile. Like regardless if they buy the insurance, like I genuinely thankful for my mother. She just, I have a servant's heart. And no joke, and I'm not saying this like arrogantly, out of the issue paid, out of the commission that I issued over the 30K, I've only had one person not purchase insurance from me. And it's because I didn't listen to Peter. So, I think I've helped right over like 22 or 23 people. And I've only had one person not purchase it because I didn't listen. So there's nothing special. I just care about.
What about that appointment? Because I think it could be really valuable. What about that appointment was it that caused you not to close and help them?
I didn't send a picture of the financial inventory because I'd already made some money that day. So I was kind of high, that emotional roller coaster. And when I called Peter, he said, she has neuropathy and, from diabetes. So it's an instant decline on Moo. Well, she on Americo. So he told me to go to, Aetna. And so I already quoted her like a policy on Moo, which was twice the coverage on Aetna. So I shot myself in the foot, because when I went to Aetna and she actually qualified for it after, we talked about the dollar amount that she'll allocate every month, and then the coverage amount, she's like, that ain't worth it. So if I would have just listened and just would have transitioned to Aetna after the America decline, I wouldn't have like false quoted her.
Right.
And she probably would have purchased it because she just wanted to be cremated and spread in the mountains somewhere. And that would have paid the $7,500 that she was able to afford. She would have more than likely did it.
Right.
So
I've been guilty of that too, dude. So like I've been in a situation where like, and if you guys have ever done it, don't do this. This is like, man, it was a big learning experience. So you go into a home and it's like, you think it's going to be like a CBO or something, right? And like you sell the product, right? This is going to be like so good, right? It's the perfect product. You sell it, you tell them about the cash back, living benefits, blah, 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 best product on the market, best company, 100-year, blah, 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 right? And then, all right, we're going to run through here, declined. You can't submit. Now everything else is awful. Like you can't overcome,
Swear.
well, now we're going to have to look at the next best thing, which doesn't, it's like, dude, slow down and think and like verify all the health stuff before you start, like listen before you speak, right? It's the same thing. And like we're all guilty of it. We all do it. But it's funny, like you learn so much really fast in this business. You learn what not to do really fast, and then you learn what works. And it's like plugging into trainings like this and learning from guys like you that are having quick success and things like that. So it's the little things, right? It's little things that you're saying, being like people picking up that you're authentic, right? Like not everybody can be comfortable, like very comfortably authentic, right? Sometimes it's unnatural for a lot of people to be like that, or they try, like we talked about earlier, they try to like, you try to be somebody you're not, right? You try to be an insurance salesman, right? Because you think that that's what they want to come over to the house. And it's like, just go be yourself, because nobody can be you better than you, right? So just go be yourself, follow the system, call your manager until you learn the products, and like just keep it really simple. And that's what you're doing. It sounds like you're just doing everything that all we say is just lean on your manager, lean on Peter, lean on Alex, and just be consistent, and you'll have success. Like the numbers just work out, right? I mean, you're just booking appointments and you're just showing up. Am I right? I mean, are you doing anything special that you think that there's like some crazy skill?
No. I just that whole mind right thing. I forgot the gentleman's name who does that like agenda thing. But it's so true. Like every morning, I get up, I'm a man of faith. So, I'll pray and just, I'll ask God just to search my heart just to get rid of all like the selfishness and the greed, just to go out and serve people. And it works for me. So we always create.
Oh, you're muted, dude.
Shoot. We back?
Yeah, you back.
Okay. Yeah. So I was just gonna say we're all equal, we all come in the world the same, we all leave the same. So I'm just a super like simple, stupid person. And the majority of people think the same way as me. So that's really it.
That's awesome, dude. Do you have any closing advice?
If you're struggling, don't be afraid to open your mouth, because closed mouths don't get fed. If you need the help, ask for it. If you're struggling, ask for it. Don't be afraid to work Sundays. Work the system, because like you said, like the field owes you. If you call 100 people, you probably sit with 15 of them, and 6 of them will probably purchase insurance. And I hate to say it, that's like if you suck. Right.
That's it.
But that's real. Like the only thing you have in this business is growth. And if it fails, it's because you didn't do something. It's because you didn't reach out. It's because you didn't train enough. It's not the system's fault. It's your fault. Like it's funny. So when I was serving, I met a group of young ladies, and they're now insurance agents. And I've been posting on my Snapchat and my social media about the limited success that I've had, so on and so forth. And she reached out to me, and she lives in Texas as a State Farm agent. She recently said that she had an agent from FFL come over to her. I'm like, so what didn't he do? Like to leave a place like FFL, not hating on State Farm, but to go to a commission capped, micromanaged agency. And it's just like, you're going to get out what you put in. So if you till the field, you're going to receive the fruits of your labor. And like period, so.
No, that's awesome, dude. And, congrats on your success. Like, again, I know I've said this a couple of times, like, but I'm not surprised, like talking to you, like I could have told you before you ever started here, you would do really well. So
yeah, you're
coachable, and, you seem like a really good dude, humble, and excited to see how you grow here. Cause I could definitely, you're a Hall of Fame producer, so you will be. I know that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. And you're awesome.
Hey, Mike, there was a question in here to explain what live dials are. Can one of you guys do that, please?
Yeah. Do you want to share?
Sure. Yeah. So the live dials, it's us as a community coming together to be accountable to each other, to show newer reps like myself, because I still got a lot to learn. Like when I see Sheila on there, when I see Alex on there, and see all these other like producers who are producing good numbers, it's a way to learn. So we get all on after we purchase our leads, we get on the live dials and we just call these leads, and it's live training, and it's an amazing place to be in because there's so much you can learn from it.
Right. It's and I don't know anybody who consistently gets on live dials. And I mean, it's like you said, community, you get to know people on there, and it's like, it's something that I look forward to, you know, like getting on there with your team. Like it's people outside of your specific team, but like, I mean, we're all one team at FFL, but like you get on there and like you said, you know, Sheila's going to be on there. Jamie's going to be on there. Alex, you know, Travis is on there now. Peter, like all, you know, the guys, right. And girls, like the team's on there, and you plug in, you all dial together, and your goal's 15. And we got the scoreboard on there that everybody can play with, and it's competitive. Right. And like, it's just a fun environment. It beats dialing by yourself. Like, I mean, it's emotional as it is, and like getting hung up on, and, you know, all kinds of crazy things that are said. Like, it's not always like roses. Right. So it's like you know, it's not that you're happy that other people are experiencing the same thing, but it's comforting to know that everything, and this doesn't just mean for live dials, but everything in this business that you experience, someone else has experienced it too, and they've overcame it. So if they can overcome it, you can, right? So it's just being, you know, live dials specifically, being on live dials and listening to other people get the same objections that you're getting, and how they handle it, and how they're overcoming it. And you pick little things up that like you wouldn't get without being on live dials. So there's no way that someone brand new who could dial on their own for 30 days by themselves, even calling their manager for coaching, right, compare or grow at the same pace that somebody who's on live dials, like literally with the customers, right, hearing objections on the phone. Like, there's no comparison. So if you're not on live dials, if you're not booking 15 appointments every dial day, 12 to 15 appointments every dial day, and you're not getting better on the phones, and you're not on live dials, I question whether like you really want to grow. Because like, if you want to grow, we have the system for it, and that's everything, right? It's just like these calls right here. It's live dials. It's the agency calls. It's Sean's call on Saturday morning. It's Trey's on Wednesday. It's Paul's on Monday morning. Like, and I know there's a lot of calls, but like, anytime someone's trying to perfect their craft, whether you're an athlete or not, like look at all the greatest of anything, right? They don't just show up to practice at 8 and leave at 12, right? They're there early, they stay late. You know, it's like, it's just crazy to me. So like, you can't expect to be better than somebody that's putting in twice the amount of work as you. And you'll never grow at that pace. So like, for some people, this is part-time. Some people it's full-time. Some people want to make it a career. It's like, if this is your, you know, if this is your thing, if this is what you want to utilize to change your life and to make a career out of, whether it's growing a business or just being a top level producer, it's like, if you only understood by hopping on all these calls and applying all the training and just being present would do for you, it makes your life so much easier. Because all the hours of podcasts that I've put in, like, it's not the appointment, it's all the time, because you go into a home and you have a new perspective. Like, I learn stuff every single time I'm on one of these calls. And Trey Honeycutt says all the time, he's like, you know, maybe you don't need the call, but the call needs you, right? Like, you're either in a position to get or you're in a position to give. So, you know, you may not be like, sometimes you may not feel like, well, you know, I've been guilty of this, you know, over time, like, well, you know, I've heard that guy talk before, right? And it's like, but man, he could say something that would like make your life so much easier, like literally change your business, like give you that one little trick to overcome, think about it in a home, but you weren't on the call, right? And it's like, what if someone says something that takes, you know, your 5K weeks to 10K, all because you learn how to say submit a request for coverage instead of submit an application. Something so simple, right? You wouldn't think it matters. Well, ever since I started saying submit a request for coverage, I started writing 10K a week. Simple as that. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds stupid, right? Like, it's like, oh, that wouldn't make a difference. Like, it does. It's like, it's a completely different vibe. And like, you only learn that stuff being on the calls, and you don't know who's going to say it. Right. And you provided a lot of value, dude. So I appreciate you being on here. Jamie wanted me to go into like a little bit of training. We got like 10 minutes. He wanted me to go in a little bit of training tonight. I don't know specifically any topic. I haven't gave it a lot of thought, honestly. I mean, we could do phones, we could do in-home. Does anybody have a recommendation as to maybe something that you have a question about or objection or anything? I'll kind of just open it up and we can kind of go at that pace, and don't be the first to ask. That's all right. I'm going to call on somebody. Someone who already has coverage. Is that your question?
Door knocks.
Okay. So that's actually a good question, Alex. So I had this question back. When did we have Julius on this call? It's probably been back around March. Go back to the Living Hope YouTube channel and find Julius's call. Because he'll say this 10 times better than I can. But I asked that same question to him because it's something that I ran into a little bit. Was I'm in the home and I'm looking at options and they already have coverage, and it's like, you have no leverage, right? Because it's like, well, what if you don't come home? You know, all the objections, right? And it's like, well, if they have coverage, then you can't use that. So one thing that Julia said about it was that, and it was kind of funny, and it was like, I don't even know why I even thought of the question, but he was like, well, if they already have coverage, like, why are you there? Right. And I started thinking about it. He goes, why are you there? Like, so obviously either if they have coverage, either they want more coverage or they want to save money or look at other options, right? Maybe it doesn't fit their situation. Okay. So that's where, like, if they have coverage, it's really important to find out what they're like. So if they have coverage, why'd you fill out the form, right? To really dig into why they fill out the form. And I think it's crucial for someone that has coverage. It's crucial for you to be bold and make them get the policy. Because if they don't have the policy, they don't know what they got. I don't care what they say. Most of you guys have ran into it. Oh yeah, I have 50,000 for $13 a month. Yeah, you don't. Right? We already know you don't, right? And if it is, it's an accidental policy. So like, get out the coverage and show them what they have. And that's honestly, that's how I learned to look at coverage and look at policies. Like, I didn't know what I was looking at the first time. I just started, like, I would look at the policy data and the years, and like, then I started noticing, okay, so the death payout on this year is 0. Year 2 is 0, year 3 is 50%, year 4 is 100%, right? Like, or you'll see like the premium go up, little things like that. So it's like, most of the time, especially with like the companies, and I gotta watch what I'm saying here. So the policies that we follow, right? You'll find a lot of the policies are not good for the client. Like, a lot of people are in like graded periods, and they can get immediate coverage. But like, what you got to realize is other companies that are, and agents who are captive, they can literally only sell what they have, right? So it's like, here with the 30 plus carriers, it's probably like 200 products if you really break it down. But all the products we have, like, we can literally find what they need. So it's like, it's just assessing the value, going in, looking at the policy, find out why they want more coverage, or if they're trying to save money, or what they were looking for. Because obviously they weren't happy with it, right? And then just attacking it based on how they answer that. So they already have coverage is pretty simple if you get the policy out, but you got to make them get the policy. Like, so I heard, and I think this is where, just as another thing Julia said there, was like, if they say, I don't know where it's at, right? Hey, can you go get the policy? Right? I don't know where it's at. You can say, there's a couple things you can say. Well, one is like, Okay, well, if you don't know where it's at, how do you expect your kids or, you know, your spouse to know where it's at? So like if something were to happen to you, then basically it means that they're not getting the money because they don't know where it's at either. Like that's it. Like, so we need to make sure you know where that's at, right? The second thing that you can say is, well, if you were to put it somewhere, where do you think you would put it? Like, where do you think, like, if I gave you a policy right now, where do you think you would put it? Well, it'd probably be in the cabinet over there, you know, in the office. Okay, well, let's go look there.
I got
Where do
one
you
for
think
you,
it
Mike.
is? Huh?
I got one for you. So if you figure out, here's one, you know how you say it's not how what you ask, it's how you ask it. So I was just thinking about while you were like kind of going off, say you had a $25,000 policy and you said you didn't know. You know, I would say something like, Mike, so you're telling me if you had $25,000 in this house, you don't know where it is? You know, there's a way to like challenge them without making them feel like stupid, you know? So it's like, I don't know. That's just kind of
Yeah.
like
No, definitely. There's a bunch of different avenues, and it's just like, but
yeah.
it's really pointing out like the importance of like you're paying every month for this, and you don't even know where it's at, right? Like if they're like, I don't know what company it is. Well, let's pull up your bank account because it'll tell you who's, you know, let's find out. We need that anyway. So go ahead and pull it out. And another thing, like too, with coverage, like I write so much business off of increasing coverage, right? Like, so I'll walk into a house, and this is an avenue that I take. It's like if they're like saying, hey, I've got 10, I want 10 more. Okay. Most of these people, it's like a relative, like it's only if this makes sense. So you can't put people in a worse situation. But what I found, most everybody has a policy within a year or two, right? And with the companies that we have, we can typically put them in a better spot. And so when you look at that policy, show them like an extra 10 grand, right? So add the extra coverage and then go at it from another angle. Like, you know, Mary, like there's nothing worse. Like, I don't know if you've ever had to, you know, do a death claim. Has anybody, any of your loved ones ever had, you know, life insurance and they passed away and you were the beneficiary? And most of the time they say no. Every now and then you'll get a yeah. And it's super easy when they say yeah. But if they say no, say, okay, so, you know, obviously being in this industry, that happens, right? People pass away. And it's very difficult and like, it's a lot of work to submit a request, submit a death benefit. We have to call the carrier to file a death claim. Okay. They're going to mail the paperwork out, which sometimes takes a week. They're going to mail it to me. I've got to come to your house. We're going to sit down with the paperwork. We're going to fill out all the personal details. You're going to have to list out all the medications that your husband was taking, when it was prescribed, the doctor who prescribed it at the doctor's office, it was prescribed at. Okay. Then we're going to have to get records for each medical condition that he's ever had. And we're going to have to date it. Also go with the doctor that said he had this illness at the place where it was with all the addresses and zip codes. Okay. Then we have to get it notarized. All right. And then we have to have an actual copy of the obituary. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get that policy and put it in an envelope with all of that information, and we're going to mail it back to the company. Okay. So do you want to do that one time or do you want to do that 3 times? Right. Oh, I only want to do that one time. Okay. So here's what makes the most sense. Okay. Let's go ahead and combine these policies. Okay. We'll get you 20,000 here. You know, lay out the options, right? Get you 20,000 here. It makes life so much easier when that time comes. Your husband's going to call me. I'm going to take care of it for you. Going to come out to the house. We'll fill it all out. You know, Lord willing, I'm still alive. If not, I'll have my assistant do it, whatever. We'll take care of you. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to point out like, dude, that's a nightmare. Like that's a lot of work. Now do it 3 times. Like that's awful, right? And then you have to wait on 3 different companies to actually like pay you the policy. And it's just so much. So like people like the simplicity of that. So that's another thing. Let me read the comments here and see if we have anything else. Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? Those were all statements. Because in-home for me, and I'm not going to dig into it because we only have a few minutes left, but in-home for me is just being really direct. Like you just be straightforward, know why you're there. When you walk in, overcome the whole bank account issue and situation, and make sure that you tell them what you're going to do. Right. So I walk in, just to give you a little run through, like, I'll walk in. It's at the door. It's pretty easy. Hey, John, here for the insurance appointment. You want me to take my shoes off? And, most of the time they say no. All right, walk on in. And I know they say go to a table, and I like to go to a table if I can. A lot of these people don't have room at the table. And, I'll just write wherever I have to. Right. But I like to go to a table so I could actually write stuff out and write, but I'll do it on my lap if I have to. So go to the table, sit down, show them the lead card, have them confirm the information. While they're confirming the information, I'm getting my carrier sheet, all that information out of my bag. Then I'm just asking them straight up, what pushed you to fill that out? Most people fill it out. Like if it's a final expense, most people fill it out. They want to take care of the burial or, cremation or leave some money behind. Well, what was it for you? And they'll tell you, and just dig into their why. Like Andrew said, just care about them, right? Dig into the situation. Sometimes they've lost somebody, for whatever reason, just dig into the situation. Okay. And then next thing you're going to do, you're going to grab that lead card back and say, okay, so Andrew, so, my job's pretty simple here. I do the Jamie thing. I'm not the sales guy. Okay. I'm literally just the underwriter. My job is just to run through some of these options that we can give you. I show them the carrier sheet. I'm like, look, we've got like 30 different carriers here. My job's to shop around for you. What we're going to do, we're going to find some coverage that makes financial sense. It's going to fit the budget. It's going to protect what you want to protect. Okay. And what I have to do here is ask you some medical questions. It's nothing real deep. It's all non-medical. There's no doctor's appointments, but we're going to run through some basic health questions and prescription. And then I'm going to run a quick MIB check. Are you familiar with the MIB? They're like, no. Okay. It's basically like the credit history for your medical record. So anytime you go to the doctor, it goes in this little, area called the MIB. And that's what the insurance underwriters use to make a final judgment. So what we're going to do, once we have that information, we are going to submit a request for coverage today. Okay. So in order to submit a request for coverage, we need a couple pieces of information. We need either a valid ID or a driver's license. And then we're also going to need a bank or credit union account and routing number. Now, you don't have to go get that right yet, right? You take the pressure off, right? You don't have to go get that right yet. We don't need it. Let's just jump into the medical questions. Okay. And then I take that financial inventory and I start with the medical conditions first, right? Because if I know that they had cancer last year, right? Now, you guys fill it all out. As you're new and growing, fill it out, send it to your manager. But as becoming more experienced and understanding the underwriting process and a lot more of the products, I start with the medical questions because I know if they're on dialysis and like whatever, I just know based on the medical conditions. Half the time I don't even take the prescription questions down because my process is, unless they have any of the major ones, oxygen, kidney or liver disease, cancer, heart attack, stroke, I know I'm running Americo, right? So like I just jump into Americo right away as soon as I think that they can possibly get qualified for it. And how I do that is I just tell them straight up. So I'm like, so we got this company called Americo. It's who I submit our healthiest individuals through. And they got this pretty cool prescription check where I don't actually have to go fully through with the e-app to be able to see what you can qualify for. So I'm going to run that real quick and it'll give me a good direction. And then I just go into it, fill it out, go down to all the information, run it, have them sign it, run it. And then if it says I can move forward, I literally, and I got this from Jamie, I race it, right? So as soon as I hit initiate underwriting, like I go into the health questions that I've already answered on the financial inventory, and I race all the way to the payer screen. I try to beat it to the payer screen, right? Which is like 4 sections down. So like I'm at where they're ready to put in the banking information, right? And then I'll go back up to the product screen, and that's where I'll quote. So I don't quote until I actually run the prescription check, like I was mentioning earlier, right? Because you don't want to confuse people and you don't want to tell them about this product and then they can't even submit a request. So I don't quote anything. I just put a random 10,000, hit calculate, and then run the initiate underwriting. Okay. If it says I can go, then I go back up to the quote screen. So this is probably what separates. I don't know a lot of people that do this next part. And ever since I started doing this, I started selling a lot bigger premium. I don't actually run through the budget. You guys are going to think I'm crazy. I don't run through the budget. Okay. And I have a couple of, you guys do what you want. I have a couple opinions and reasons why. And one of those is I feel like you know what you can afford. And if you were, even coming to, if you were going to buy a car and the guy got into your financial details, I was like, well, like, it's not my job to figure out what you can afford, right? Like I assume, and this has been proven right in my own mind, trying to like find the crack in it. I assume you know what you can afford for something, right? Like you're an adult. I'm not selling. You're an adult. You can make your own decision, right? Like you can decide if you can afford $100 a month and you can decide if you can afford to. Like it's none of my business to dig into your that's my opinion, right? I don't like people, hey, what do you pay for that? Like, I don't care. Like if I say that I can afford $200, I don't care what you think, right? I can afford it. If it's important to me, I'll make it, right? So I literally just ask people, and this is how I get around. So for instance, final expense, right? I know Americo's 30, max is 30, okay? Because I always leave with Americo. So I'll ask them, majority of the time, I'll say, okay, if, I know, like, we got to start somewhere. Do you have an idea how much coverage you would want if you could get it? Most everyone says like 40, 50, sometimes 30, but like 40 or 50,000, sometimes 60, right? I say that because that gives me permission to show max coverage without sounding like I'm obligated to show you the max coverage and it sounds like you're upcharging them, right? By me saying that, it allows me to them, it sounds like I'm downselling them, right? They're asking for 50 and I'm about to show them 30. Think about that. Okay. So I'm coming on the back side. So when they say, yeah, I'd like to get 50. Okay. So, and I download all the forms off of fflamerica.com. Okay. So I pull out the final, if I'm dealing with the Eagle product, I'm pulling out the final expense, product sheet, right? Whatever. I don't even know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. It goes through all the features, right? I'm a very visual person. I don't like to tell you about a product. I like to show you and like talk and point and like, look, this has level premiums, level death benefit. It's tax-free. It's double access, like, right? You go down the list and you tell about it. And I explain why I believe it's, it's the best product for them. So basically, when I show the price then, and they say they want 40 or 50, I'll say, okay, so like I said, Americo's who I submit our healthiest individuals to, they're the best final expense product. I think it's the best product for you. Their max coverage is only 30 though. So we'll start here. I'll quote you for 30 and you let me know if we need to go up. Okay. So I don't show them three options. I ain't showing three options. So I calculate it. I write it out and I slide it over to them and I show them and say, okay, so 30 is 187. All right. I know you want 50, but 30, we can stack some coverage on top. So is 30 good enough or would you like more? And every time they're saying, oh, 30 is good. 30 is good. Okay. And you can afford that month in, month out, right? Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. So we have some other options. We can stack coverage with other companies, but 30, you're satisfied with 30. It covers you, the monthly premium, it's comfortable, right? Yep, that'll work. Okay, perfect. That's it. If they say, that's a little expensive, I don't just go down and show them random prices. I'm saying, okay, so that's a little expensive. Do you have an idea like what you wanted to pay? And I'll try to see what we can get max coverage for, right? I wanted to stay right around 150. So I'll go on the Americo app and I'll go back again. Not on the quote tool. I'm in I already have everything ready. As soon as they agree to a price, I'm having them get the driver's license and the check or the account number, and I'm writing it on the paper. That's it. So it's like, as soon as they say go, I'm going, right? So I'm already there. I don't have to go through the health questions. I don't give them time to think and like change, like none of that, right? I'm ready to roll. So anyway, I'll show them that. Say it's like 150 is like 26,000. I'll say, okay, so we can get you 26,000, 150. So that's going to double, right? So that's going to be 52 accidental. That's going to give 52,000 accidental. That's going to give you, I suck at math. What's half of that is like what? 12, 24, 13. It's going to give you 13 of the living bit, like terminal illness rider. Okay. All that good. Perfect. Okay. So now I need that ID and I need the account routing number. You can either get me an avoided check, bank statement, or you can pull it up on your phone. If you don't know the routing number, I can Google it for you because that's all, public information. So they go get the ID. I don't need the ID, right? We don't need it, but I'm not asking for a check without an ID. It's just weird, right? So I write the South Carolina or whatever state driver's license number on the lead sheet, and then they give me the voided check. I enter it in, good to go. That's it. Like I don't show them three. I don't like, I stopped doing that and people stopped choosing the middle one. So now they choose the one that I want them to choose. Like I've really been shocked at how people literally do what I tell them to do. Try it sometime. Like people will do what you want them to do. Like they don't know what they want. They don't know what they need. So I told this guy this earlier. It's like, dude, this may not be the greatest analogy, but like when you go get your taxes done, like, I don't know about you, but like, if I want to do my taxes by myself, I do them by myself, right? When I go to get my taxes done, like you just tell me what to do. Like, here you go. Here's my taxes. Tell me where to sign, right? It's the same way these people are. They filled out a lead sheet, right? They want the insurance. How much do you want? Okay. And how much do you want to pay? Just tell me. And I'll find the most coverage we can get for the price that you're willing to pay. Like I'm not digging in anything else. And that's the way I do it. And ever since I started doing it that way, my premiums doubled. So does anybody have any questions on that? I don't want to keep you guys all night.
I think the last thing that, I'll comment on, I really liked how because I've had those moments where I'm like awkwardly asking for the bank information, and it's awkward. It's like you're looking at them, they're looking at you, like they're like looking at you like, are they really asking for that? And I like how you said it though, that you ask for the ID along with the checkbook or the voided check, because you could, like you said, there's a bunch of avenues. You could do something like, I need to make sure that the name on your checkbook matches who you are, so it's more putting emphasis on the ID and taking the pressure off of them giving you your bank information. So that's what I just took away from what you said.
Right. And it's been clutch. And like when I tell them up front that we're submitting a request and we need the ID and the bank info, and they say, yeah, like if they say no, great. Like people are so scared. Like, what if they say like, good, I didn't just wait 45 minutes to get to the end. You don't have a bank card or like I just wasted my time with you. Right. Like, so get it out of the way. And if they agree, it's like, I'm not all like into, people call them trial close, whatever they are. I don't know. I just know it works. Right. I don't overthink it. Like tell them what you need up front, run through it and then do it. And it's like, if you're really, if you pay attention to people's body language, you can really, you can maneuver a lot of the objections, right? So like, what if they say they want to think about it, right? So it's like, I show them the price and it's like, they don't know if they want it. They don't know if they want to submit a request, right? Like they're on the fence about it, right? Or maybe here's another thing. What if you show them too many options? The more options you show, the more they have to think about it, which is another reason why I don't show 3 and I don't get into all that stuff, right? Like you're just giving them more things to think about. But you can read somebody's body language. You can read if somebody is about to say, if you've done this long enough anyway, you can read when somebody is about to say, yeah, I think we're just going to think about this and we'll call you back. Leave us your card, right? Like if you start to see them kind of lean in that direction, like if they don't say, yeah, that works within like the first 4 seconds, they're probably going to say they're going to think about it. And you can kind of, they're like this. Like, right, they're trying to find a way to be nice about, no, this doesn't work. So why do people say think about it? Well, one, maybe it isn't the right price. Maybe they're not sold on the product. Maybe they're not sold on you, right? There's a couple different things, right? So like the way I'll handle that is, ma'am, I'm sure you probably need to think about this. Okay. So my recommendation, let's submit with the one that you think you want the most. Okay. And you'll have 30 days. It's just a simple voice verification, voice signature. We can adjust the policy for you. Okay. So go ahead and get the ID. We'll submit the one, think about the one that you want the most. If it's the 30K, we can adjust down if it ends up being the 25, but let's go ahead and submit the one that you think you want to keep. And then we'll have 30 days, we can adjust it. Okay. So go ahead and get that ID in the check, and we'll get this thing started so we can get it submitted. If you're approved, it'll come out of your account. If it's Friday, like if it's a Friday, we'll say, yeah, probably Tuesday. And that means that congrats, that means you're approved. So now we have 30 days so we can discuss any type of changes, beneficiary changes. Obviously you can do anytime, but let's go ahead and get that request submitted and see if we can get you approved. So it's like, you just like attack it before they give it. Does that make sense? And you stop getting objections because it's the same reason you say, I'm going to shop around for you, right? You're saying that because they're going to tell you they want to shop around. But if you tell them you're shopping around for them, they can't say, I want to shop around. Well, that's what I'm doing. Like, that's my job.
It's like you're proactively overcoming the objections before they even come out.
Right. I spit out the objection before they say it. So that's what I do. But all right, guys, I know that this has been kind of long, but I appreciate you, Andrew, dude. You're a beast, and it's been good getting to know you a little bit. I can definitely, like I said, I can't say enough good things about you, dude. So you definitely crushed this, dude. And I'll let you close this out. Do you have anything that you want to say here before we hop off, before we go?
I appreciate like all of you guys, just from the live dials to being alongside every one of you guys. Y'all's numbers every day that I see you gets me hyped, because I'm like, dang, it's like I'm ready to go. So it's just a pleasure and an honor to work alongside of y'all and be a part of the family.
Awesome, man. Well, we love you guys, and we'll see you guys next Monday. Go crush this week.
All right, y'all. See y'all.